the roots of Gilmour's sound. David Gilmour's distinctive guitar voice didn't emerge in a vacuum. It was shaped by a generation of electric guitar pioneers. Among the most notable influences were Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, and Eric Clapton. Each left a unique imprint on Gilmour's playing. Jimi Hendrix inspired Gilmour with his bold, expressive use of effects and feedback. Gilmour once described Hendrix's playing as a revelation, particularly praising his ability to convey raw emotion through sheer sonic power. Jeff Beck influenced Gilmour's phrasing and use of the whammy bar for subtle pitch bending, helping develop the lyrical, vocal-like quality of his solos. Eric Clapton, especially during his cream years, brought blues phrasing and sustain into the rock vocabulary elements Gilmour would refine into his own melodic, slow burn style. Gilmour absorbed these techniques but filtered them through his own sensibilities, favoring emotional depth over flash. The birth of a sound. In his early days with Pink Floyd, Gilmour's gear was simple but essential in crafting his foundational tone. He initially played a Gibson Les Paul, which gave him a warmer, thicker tone ideal for bluesy lead lines. He later transitioned to a Fender Telecaster, notably used on the Piper at the Gates of Dawn and early Floyd gigs, offering a brighter, punchier tone that cut through the mix. Eventually, he would find his soulmate in the Fender Stratocaster, but these early guitars helped him explore a tonal range that laid the groundwork for his later signature sound. His amp choices, like Hiwa and Selmer models, also contributed to his articulate, clean yet powerful tone. The Gilmour fuzz. A major part of Gilmour's sonic identity is his use of fuzz, especially in Pink Floyd's formative years. What became known as the Gilmour fuzz was centered around a few key pedals. The Dallas Arbiter fuzz face was one of his earliest fuzz pedals, famously used by Hendrix. Its rich, round distortion gave Gilmour the sustain and saturation needed for soaring solos. Later, the Electro-Harmonix Big Muff Pi became a core part of his rig, especially on albums like Animals and The Wall. The Big Muff provided a smoother, more saturated fuzz tone that defined tracks like Comfortably Numb and Time. Gilmour often paired these fuzz pedals with a Binson Echorec delay unit and modulated reverb effects to create his signature spacey, expansive soundscapes. During the early years of Pink Floyd, laying the foundation for some of the early Floyd era, David Gilmour's sound matured rapidly, the sonic blueprint. This era was marked by experimentation, innovation, and the search for atmosphere-driven guitar textures that helped define the band's identity. The most iconic tones in rock history. The iconic Echo sound. Echoes, from the 1971 album Metal, represents a turning point in Gilmour's tone and approach. The track is built on spacious, ambient textures with long, melodic solos that feel like they're suspended in time. His use of slide guitar and controlled feedback created an eerie, soaring effect that became a hallmark of Floyd's sound. In Echoes, Gilmour blended clean and overdriven tones with subtle modulation, delay, and reverb. The result was a haunting, atmospheric soundscape that showcased his growing mastery of both technique and tone. It was one of the first tracks to show just how expressive the electric guitar could be beyond blues and rock norms. The Dark Side of the Moon, Revolution. With The Dark Side of the Moon, 1973, Gilmour's sonic vision reached a new level. The album's production quality and use of technology were groundbreaking. Gilmour began using more advanced equipment, including custom pedal boards, and refined his use of delays, choruses, and reverbs to create lush, layered textures. His solos on tracks like Time and Money combine precision with emotion, enhanced by studio innovations like multi-track layering and stereo panning. The Stratocaster became his primary weapon, often rooted through high-watt amps and effect chains that emphasize clarity and sustain. Mastering the echo effect, A cornerstone of Gilmour's early sound was his use of echo and delay, particularly the Binson Echorec, an analog tape delay unit that produced rhythmic repeats with a warm, organic quality. Unlike digital delays, the Echorec had a unique, warbly decay that contributed to Floyd's dreamy and otherworldly vibe. Gilmour used the Binson Echorec to great effect on tracks like Echoes and Shine On You Crazy Diamond, where the repeats created swirling, hypnotic textures. This approach allowed him to play sparse, emotional lines that filled space and enhanced the band's dynamic sound. The use of echo wasn't just about repetition, it was about atmosphere. Gilmour learned to manipulate delay time, feedback, and amp reverb to craft tones that felt alive, constantly evolving within the song. The solo years and beyond, new soundscapes. After decades with Pink Floyd, David Gilmour's solo career offered a canvas for a more personal musical expression. His sound evolved, retaining emotional depth but embracing a refined clarity. These solo works reveal a player still innovating subtly, masterfully. A more refined tone. Gilmour's solo work marked a sonic shift. While still rooted in rich sustain and expressive phrasing, his tone became more transparent and organic. Instead of leaning on dense fuzz or heavy delay, he emphasized clean articulation, touch dynamics, and carefully layered effects. This refinement allowed his guitar to breathe more within the mix. Tracks from albums like On an Island showcase smoother overdrive, tasteful reverb, and an overall gentler approach, highlighting his mature musical voice. It was less about power and more about presence. The About Face era. Released in 1984, About Face found Gilmour experimenting with more mainstream rock elements while doubling down on his Stratocaster as the tonal centerpiece. The bright clarity of the Strat was used to its full potential, blending sparkling cleans with punchy leads. Gilmour used chorus and delay more sparingly during this time, focusing instead on MP-driven gain and dynamic phrasing. Songs like Murder and Until We Sleep reflect his evolving style, gritty when needed, but always under control and emotionally resonant. The On an Island experimentation. In 2006's On an Island, Gilmour embraced atmosphere and nuance like never before. His tone became warmer, with a spacious cinematic quality. Synthesizers and ambient textures played a bigger role, often blending with his guitar in seamless harmony. He also incorporated modern gear, digital delays, looping devices, and reverb units to shape intricate, evolving soundscapes. Still, the heart of his tone remained analog, touch-sensitive amp gain, fluid bends, and soulful phrasing. The album's title track and Castellarizen are perfect examples of this late-era style slow building. Expressive and deeply immersive. It was clear, Gilmour's sound continued to evolve without losing its core identity. The legacy of Gilmour's tone. The Gilmour guitar sound, exploring the impact his tone has had on guitarists, and the ongoing efforts to emulate his sonic signature. The evolution of the Gilmour rig, discussing how Gilmour's equipment and techniques have influenced modern guitarists and equipment manufacturers. Keeping it real, emphasizing the importance of Gilmour's unique style and artistry in shaping his signature sound. The future of Gilmour's sound, the impact on future generations, analyzing how his sound will continue to inspire and influence guitarists in the years to come. Continuing the legacy, discussing the possibility of new gear and techniques that could expand on Gilmour's sonic legacy, the enduring power of his sound, reflecting on the importance of preserving his sound for future generations and the impact it will continue to have on music.